Our final speaker of the day is Stan Ross, who's been busy at the Aero Innovate incubator for the entire weekend. He is founder and president of EFX Applied Technology. We got just a hint of that from Boris's presentation. He's a pilot, warbird restorer, and antique aircraft owner. He serves on the Minnesota Aviation Hall of Fame Board of Directors and works with the CAF Red Tail Squadron. He flew a single-engine Bonanza A36 nonstop across the Atlantic and says that once was enough. His presentation is Illuminating Aviation Safety with IPAS? IPAS.
Well, thank you all for sticking around. I know it's been a long weekend sitting in these chairs. At least they're padded. I appreciate you staying with it. I'll make this as brief as I can because it's really an update on what we started with. Exactly 1 year ago this weekend, we announced publicly for the first time the existence of EFX Applied Technology and our concept in improving aviation safety. And, let's go there. We skipped one a little bit, but that's just fine. EFX Applied Technology saves lives by illuminating invisible dangers and alerting people to those dangers. The dangers we're talking about are jet engine intakes and exhausts, which are invisible. You can't see the flow of air coming into a jet engine intake, but it'll pull you through it and destroy you. The soon-to-be very prevalent spinning blades of unmanned aerial vehicles, and the exhausts of the same turbine engines, which are very, very challenging situations. One of our advisory board members served in the U.S. Navy as a rescue swimmer. His first week of deployment on an aircraft carrier, they sent him into the water 7 times to recover human remains. These were not intact humans, these were parts. It's a very, very dangerous environment. That's 7 fatalities in 1 week on 1 ship. We know there is a problem we can solve. In the commercial aviation sector, right now, ground handling injuries alone amount to nearly 250,000 people every year. The direct cost of the airlines is $10 billion a year. We intend to mitigate some of those costs and some of the tragedies and the inconvenience. Every day, on airport ramps around the country and around the world, you can see situations like this where aircraft owners, their mechanics, are attempting to get all of the performance and efficiency they can out of their equipment. Cowlings off, propellers spinning, tuning them up to get the best performance. Not a good scenario to be involved in if you really aren't on your toes. Early attempts to mitigate these invisible dangers included painting the tips of propellers different colors to increase visibility. As you can clearly see right through this spinning propeller, it has very limited effectiveness. We've developed a system that we believe is going to go a long way in improving safety in aviation of all stripes. We call it the Interactive Personnel Alert System, or IPAS. Our systems will work effectively in daytime or nighttime conditions to dramatically reduce the risk and prevent injuries and fatalities. In the commercial aviation category, we have in all categories, the system consists of several options. Vehicle-mounted systems that keep the alert system with the vehicle as it moves across the taxiway. Stationary system, which helps the airport management and operators identify where the vehicles are, where the ground handling equipment is, and where all of the personnel are on an active runway, on an active airport ramp rather, or an aircraft carrier, or any operational area. And in fact, it translates into job sites and workplaces in many different arenas. We have resounding endorsements from leaders of the military services, from the Air Force, from the Navy, from executives at the OEMs of general aviation and commercial aircraft, and a number of visionaries in the aviation industry. The types of accidents we directly intend to attack first are tail rotor incursions on rotary aircraft. You cannot see a spinning tail rotor daytime and especially at nighttime. Our system projects a vivid, brilliant laser image onto the ground or the ramp to directly draw attention to people who may not know they're about to walk into spinning blades. Our intent is not to prevent our intent is to prevent the accident, not to stop the machine or impact the operation of the machine, but to alert people, including the operator, the potential victim of the accident about to happen, and ancillary safety personnel, supervisory personnel, and others as needed, that there is a threat condition that has been identified, the persistence of that threat, and the success or failure of eliminating that threat. Our revenue streams are primarily focused on initially 3 streams: the products and the installation of these projection systems, annual system licensing of these products, which will continue to deliver revenue streams every year, and the data and telematics. The data acquisition units we will employ in these devices will capture the information from every threat that's detected and the outcomes so that we can help the safety teams and the insurance industry and the operators identify what the frequency of threats are, where they are occurring, and what the outcomes are. Our initial targets are going to be in the commercial, military, and general aviation markets. Our initial products will be the vehicle-mounted projection systems. We have 2 issued patents. We have ongoing intellectual property filings, and for your illumination, to coin a phrase, we would invite you to come over to the Innovation Showcase at the showgrounds at EAA and see our engineering model, which will be on display. I believe you'll be impressed with the progress we've made in the last year. Our plan moving forward in the next 12 months is to continue our additional patent filings, continue our research and development, and move along towards a fully functioning prototype and first articles. We're seeking introductions to government agencies, military operators, and entities in the commercial aviation arena, especially in the OEMs. We project that our first article, vertical takeoff and landing mounted IPAS system, will be installed in the 3rd quarter of 2019, followed approximately a year later of our first article of a fixed-wing IPAS installation. The executive team consists of myself with a fairly broad background in aviation management, operations, charter, leasing, sales, the warbird industry, and a lot of time as a private pilot, which I love and want to continue doing, and I want to continue doing it safely. Boris Popov is in charge of our aerospace operations and marketing aspects. And at this time, I'd like to introduce you all to our Chief Technology Officer. Rolf, would you join us up here? Rolf leads our technology strategy direction and our research and development and engineering efforts. So again, to summarize, there are 250,000 people injured just in the commercial aviation arena in ground handling accidents alone, costing airlines $10 billion. We see that as a bright opportunity. The markets in the military, UAV, and general aviation categories continue to impress us with the massive financial opportunity that entails. I can be reached at this email address, and at this time I'd like to thank you for your attention and for enduring this long weekend. It's a great thing to be a part of, and we appreciate being invited back, Yolanka. And if you have any questions, technical or otherwise, we'll be happy to answer those right now.
I suppose because it's aiming at the ground, you're not too worried about hitting people's eyes?
We are worried about that. We wanted to address that, and we have the system that we will show you, eye safe. And to overcome the big problem that we have is overcoming the brilliance of the sun. And on a very high intensity sunlight day, that is a very big concern, especially with wet pavement or reflective surfaces. We're working to address those concerns.
So in your future plans, are you looking at any interactive where it picks up the presence of a person?
Correct. Yes, this is a sensors-based system that relies on the electronics to detect a threat that is moving towards a hazard zone. It'll alert the equipment operators. It will alert the people who are engaged in what's about to become a very bad day. And it will also be able to alert their supervisory personnel, the safety people, the emergency response people, as dictated by the customer requests as we develop the interactive components.
Yeah, the system will have a learning component to it, and that will, in the long run, help not just in this specific application, but in future applications around the world, help prevent similar incidents. So,
Any other questions?
we've talked later.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Come on over to the Innovation Showcase and take a look.